Good afternoon. Ken Arterson here. Again, I'm going to do another YouTube video on the top 50 actresses that I admire and movies that I've seen. This will be an interesting endeavor. See if you agree with me on my choices. Obviously, in the movies and television, there's been a lot of talented actresses throughout the years, starting way back in probably in 1900s, early 1900s. These movie actresses appeared in movies. My list will count down from number 50 to number 1 who I admire. Obviously, it's hard to say that one is better than the other. I just had to list 50, but when I get to my top 10, these are basically my favorites. But 50 through all the way down to 10, pretty much they're interchangeable. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to list the actress name, and I'm going to list the movie that I saw them in and what year it performed. Now, before I get started, you may say, well, why did you leave this person out or that person out? I would say basically, I didn't see them perform in the movie. Or maybe I saw clips of them. But my top 50, I've seen all their movies. So I'll give you an example of who did not make the cut as far as my list. Angie Dickinson, Jane Fonda. I don't admire her. I don't want to say anything negative about all these ladies, but you know the story with her. Shirley MacLaine, Olivia de Havilland. I did see her in Gone with the Wind, 1939, but she didn't make the cut. Rita Hayworth. The only time I saw her was in the movie The Shawshank Redemption, and they were showing a movie clip in the prison. But I didn't see any of her movies. Rita Hayworth. Mary Pickford. She's one of the early pioneers. 1920s, I believe. But I didn't see any of her movies, just clips. Greta Garbo, Betty Davis. I did see Who's Afraid of Baby Jane. Cameron Diaz, some comedy movies. She did Charlie's Angels. Didn't make the cut. Michelle Pfeiffer, talented. She was in the Russia House. She was miscast in that one. Sissy Spacek. Hope I pronounce it right. She was in the movie In the Bedroom. That was a good movie. Barbara Streisand, another one I don't admire. She's too political. Jodie Foster, some good movies. She was in Panic, Silence of the Lambs. I didn't like Silence of the Lambs. It got Best Picture of the Year. I didn't like it. I don't know why. Meryl Streep, Angelina Jolie. All these ladies did not make the cut of my 50. Glenn Close, Lauren Bacall, Judi Dench. She was in the Bond movies. That's all I remember her from. I've seen her, but not on my list. Diane Keaton, Kate Blanchett, Joan Crawford. These are some of the early leading ladies. Claudette Colbert, Marina Loy, Ginger Roger. These are early birds. Marlene Dietrich, Susan Hayward, Carol Lombard. Natalie Portman. She was in the Star Wars movie. Not on my list. Joan Fontaine, Mae West, early. Lillian Gish, Jean Harlow. These are early ladies, leading ladies. Sharon Stone. Not on my list. Marissa Tomei. She was in that movie In the Bedroom. Signor Weaver. Sorry if I pronounce it. My apologies. Annette Bening. She was in Open Range. I liked her in that one. Penelope Cruz. Nope. Julianne Moore. Susan Sarandon. Too political. What did I see her in? Thelma and Louise. Bridget Bardot. I didn't see any of her. I didn't see the movie. Laurel Linney. She's okay. Charlize Theron. Hilary Swank. Nope. Julie Christie. Julie Christie. Jessica Lange. Helen Mirren. Shelley Winters. She was in the Poseidon Adventure. Very good job in that one. But only one movie I saw her in. Anne Bancroft. Jessica Tandy. She was in The Birds. Renee Zellweger. And Anne Hathaway. My apologies to all these ladies who did not make the cut of the 50 that I admire. So you want to see if you agree or disagree with my choices. Number 50, Fay Wray. She was in the movie King Kong in 1933. That's the only movie I saw her in. She had 79 titles in her career. So very, very popular. Booked a lot. Fay Wray. Check her out. Number 49 on my list. Shirley Temple. Why is she in my list versus all these other girls that I mentioned? Or ladies, I should say. Because I like the movie Heidi in 1937. Shirley Temple. She sings Silent Night, Holy Night. Something about that, and the movie has a classic ending, Heidi. Shirley Temple had a career, 60 titles. When I mentioned titles for all these leading ladies, titles means how many productions they were involved in, whether sometimes it was TV and most of the time it was movies. Counting down, number 48 on my list, Ava Gardner. I saw her in 2 movies, The Night of the Iguana, 1964, and Earthquake, 1974. She appeared in 70 titles. 47 on my list, you're going to be surprised. You're going to say, what? Why is she so high on the list as far as women that I admired in movies? I only saw her in 1 movie, Marilyn Monroe. And the movie I saw her in was Niagara, 1953. She was in some of those other movies that everyone raves about. Some Like It Hot. But can you tell me what is her signature movie? I only saw her once. All you see is other clips of her in her private life. She had 33 titles, very short career. But Marilyn Monroe comes in at number 47 on my list. 46. You're going to be surprised at this one too. Why she's so high on the list. Elizabeth Taylor. Why do I have her here? She had a stellar career, 79 titles. And I saw her in 5 movies. But something about her, I'm not going to be negative, but 8 husbands? Something strange with this lady. But I admire her in the movies. Lassie Come Home was the one I saw in 1943. She was in Ivanhoe, 1952. The movie I liked, was The Last Time I Saw Paris, 1954. I like that movie. She was in Cleopatra, 1963, a lot of glamour. And she was in The Sandpiper with Richard Burton, 1965. That was a good movie. But anyone who can't stay married and sleeps with every leading man in Hollywood, I don't know, maybe that's exaggerating, Ken. Something going on with Elizabeth Taylor, but she comes in at number 46 on my list. Couldn't leave her off. Number 45. I saw this leading lady in one movie. 1953. Shane. And Shane, according to my top 50 movies of all time, was in the top 5 as my favorite of all time. It's a Western. Alan Ladd. Jean Arthur. She had 95 titles in her career. But the only movie I saw her in was Shane. Okay, counting down, number 44 on my list. Faye Dunaway. She had 115 titles to her credit. So obviously she was in TV also. Appeared in Alias. But I saw her in 3 movies. Bonnie and Clyde, 1967. The Thomas Crown Affair, 1967, with Steve McQueen. And The Towering Inferno with Paul Newman, 1974. So Faye Dunaway, I admired her, comes in at number 44 on my list. Number 43, counting down. Halle Berry. Halle Berry, 57 titles, still working. But I liked her in 3 movies. She has 57 titles to her credit. But I liked her in Executive Decision with Kurt Russell, 1996. And then she was in a Bond movie, Die Another Day, in 2002. And then she had a solo movie called Kidnap in 2017. I know she got Academy Award for that other movie. I didn't bother to watch it. It was too graphic. Forgot the name of the title of it, but you probably know. I don't bother because I didn't watch it. My list of leading ladies are movies that I've seen, okay? But Halle Berry comes in at number 43 on my list. Counting down, number 42, Tippi Hedren. 2 movies. She had a good career, 82 titles, still alive. She was in The Birds, 1963. You got to see that one. It was an Alfred Hitchcock classic. And then also Marnie, 1964, another Alfred Hitchcock. In that one, she starred along Sean Connery. In The Birds, she starred along with Rod Taylor. So Tippi Hedren, 42 of leading ladies that I admired and movies that I've seen. You're going to be surprised in the top 10 what my favorites are. So stick with me and bear with me as we count down, okay? Number 41 on my list, Scarlett Johansson. I've got her on my list because I saw her in 2 movies. The Horse Whisperer. She was a younger actress at that time. She played her part very well in that movie. It was a 1998 movie with Robert Redford. And then in 2019, well, in the superhero movies of the Avengers, Captain America and all those movies, the one that I stuck with was Avengers Endgame 2019. I thought she was very well acted in that one. 67 titles. Scarlett Johansson, number 41 on my list. 40. Counting down. Jennifer Lawrence. She's still working in Hollywood today, but she 34 titles to her credit. But the two movies I saw were The Hunger Games. She acted very well in that one, 2012. And then Passengers was a unique movie, 2016. So Jennifer Lawrence, number 40 on my countdown of the top 50 actresses that I admire. Number 39, Nicole Kidman. I've got her on 4 movies I've seen. She's worked a lot in Hollywood, 85 titles. First one I saw her in was Batman Forever, 2005. Then I rented a video and saw The Peacemaker, 1997, with George Clooney. It's okay. Australia was another movie she did in 2008. But then recently, just within a couple years ago, she did Aquaman. Very good, did a good job in that one. That was 2018. So Nicole Kidman, number 39 on my countdown. Counting down. You're going to be surprised at this one. Ellen Burstyn. 161 titles to her credit. Wow, it's a lot of work. So obviously a lot of TV appearances, but some movies. But the only one I saw her in was in 1973, The Exorcist. Remember Linda Blair? And Ellen was the mother. That's a classic movie. I've got that in my top 50 movies of all time. The Exorcist. It's a horror movie. Classic. 37 on my list. My ladies from number 50 all the way to number 10 can, like I say, be interchangeable. So you can put them anywhere. So I'm just listing these ladies. But I admire Reese Witherspoon coming in at number 37. And you're saying, Ken, you've got a lot of other ladies that were even better than her. But the other ladies, I didn't see their movies. But Reese, I've seen 4 of her movies. And she has 64 titles to her credit. So she gets work. Fear, 1996 with Mark Wahlberg. Legally Blonde. I thought it was a good movie, 2001. Sweet Home Alabama, 2002. That was a good movie. And Water for Elephants, 2011. Average movie. But I've seen her work in those 4 movies. So Reese Witherspoon makes my list at number 37. Number 36, Deborah Kerr. 53 titles to her credit. She was in The King and I with Yul Brynner in 1956. But the movie I liked her in was An Affair to Remember with Cary Grant, and that was in 1957. So I'm going to put Deborah Kerr on my list because I stuck with the movie all the way through, and that she's on my list versus all the other ladies that I mentioned. Okay? So bear with me, stay with me, don't yell at me, don't criticize too much, okay? 35 on my list, Katharine Hepburn. She won 4 Academy Awards as Best Actress. But the only movie that I stuck with and watched all the way through was in 1967, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? With Spencer Tracy. She's got 53 titles to her credit, and a lot of those movies, she did some with Cary Grant, they were comedies, and she falls off the porch and all that. But she was a quality actress, and she's listed in the top 10 as far as the best actresses of all time. I put her at number 35 because I only saw 1 movie of hers. 34, counting down. Kate Winslet, 63 titles, but the classic Academy Award winning movie, Titanic, 1997. You know Kate. Very well acted, and in my opinion, she should have got Best Actress that year. That was a robbery. I saw her also in Revolutionary Road 2008, and not that great of a movie. And then The Mountain Between Us in 2017, gets stranded on the mountain. Good story, but not a classic, but average. Okay, Kate Winslet's coming in at number 34 on my list. 33, Rachel Weisz. 57 titles to her credit. Did I mention that Kate Winslet has 63 titles? So Rachel Weisz has 57 titles. She was in The Mummy, 1999, average. Enemy at the Gates, 2001. I like that movie. That's a really good movie. Check that one out. And Runaway Jury, 2003. And also she was in The Bourne Legacy, 2012. But she's a good actress. Counting down, number 32 on my list, Gail Gadot. My apologies. Gal Gadot. She was in the Fast and Furious movies. 32 titles to her credit. But she was in 4 Fast and Furious franchise movies. Fast and Furious 2009, Fast 5 2011, Fast and Furious 6 2013, and Furious 7 2015. But the movie I liked her in was Wonder Woman 2017. Superhero takes out the bad guys. And then Justice League in 2017, she has a good role in that one, slaying the monster. So Gal Gadot, my apology to her, but she's on my list, coming in at number 32. 31, Gwyneth Paltrow. 5 movies I've seen of hers. 57 titles to her credit. She was in A Perfect Murder, 1998, a remake of Dial M for Murder. She was in Bounce in 2000. I was with Ben Affleck. Love Story. Shallow Hal. That was a funny movie. 2001. I like that one. Iron Man 2008 and Avengers Endgame 2019. So Gwyneth Paltrow, quality actress. She was in Shakespeare in Love, but I couldn't watch that one. In fact, that year, Shakespeare in Love won the Academy Award, and it beat out Saving Private Ryan. Huge robbery, and unacceptable by the Academy to do that. You don't do that. Saving Private Ryan was the best picture of that year, not Shakespeare in Love. So I'll mix in some of my opinions here. Gwyneth Paltrow, 31 on my list. Number 30, Jennifer Love Hewitt. She did 2 horror movies that are classic. She has 61 titles. She does a lot of television, Party of 5, and some of those other TV shows she's in. But the 2 horror movies was I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997. That was a good movie. And I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, 1998. Come on, Ken. Horror movies. And she beats out these other ladies. I didn't see the other ladies' movies, and I've mentioned that a couple times. So I'm going to stress the point of why those other ladies did not make the cut. Jennifer Love Hewitt makes the cut because I've seen 3 of her movies. The other movie I saw was Heartbreakers, 2001. Average. 61 titles. So she's a hard worker. She does a lot of television too. 29 on my list, Jessica Chastain. 56 titles, but I've only seen one movie, and it was a classic in my opinion. Zero Dark 30, 2012. The Hunt for Osama bin Laden, and she plays Maya, the girl who leads the track down, and they find him in the end. My opinion, that should have won the Academy Award that year, but they got robbed because of the politics. But Jessica Chastain comes in at number 29 as far as leading ladies I admire. 28, Sally Field. 68 titles to her credit. Smokey and the Bandit, 1977, with Burt Reynolds. Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, 1979. Forrest Gump, 1994. And she was in Norma Ray, but I didn't watch that movie. But Sally Field comes in on the list. She was in the ER series, too, on television. Played the woman with bipolar disease. Quality actress. Number 27 on my list. Let's go to old school, meaning back 70 years now. Ingrid Bergman, old school. Casablanca, classic, 1942. Spellbound, 1945. That was an Alfred Hitchcock movie. She's in 55 titles, but you got to admit that Ingrid Bergman has to be on the list as far as the leading ladies that you have to admire in movies. I didn't see all her other movies because they're all old-time TMC channel movies. But I did see Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart. It'll be interesting to see when I do the top 50 male actors, and see who comes in there and where does Humphrey Bogart wind up. But 27, good. Bergman. 26, Geena Davis. I saw 2 of her movies, 51 titles to her credit. Thelma and Louise, 1991. It was all right. But the movie I liked Geena in was, because I'm a baseball fan, Seattle Mariners, is A League of Their Own, 1992. And she's the power hitter, and she's the catcher. She can hit the ball. Good swing, and good acting in that movie. So that's why I've got her down as the leading ladies that I admire. 25 on my list, Jennifer Garner. We all know her from the television series Alias, but she was in Pearl Harbor, 2001, and Catch Me If You Can, 2003. She has 63 titles to her credit. But just because of the Alias TV series, which I like, which is in my top 50 of television shows that I admire. So I put Jennifer Garner on my list. She did another movie where she's a superhero, but I didn't watch it. All right, number 24 on my list, counting down, and those who made the cut. Meg Ryan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies I've seen of her. 49 titles to her credit. She was in Top Gun, 1986. When Harry Met Sally, 1989, with Billy Crystal. That was a funny movie. Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks in 1993. Proof of Life with Russell Crowe in 2000. And Kate and Leopold, 2001. So 49 titles for Meg Ryan. I admire her. She's a pretty good actress on the screen. 23 on my list, Donna Reed. Well, we know she had a television show, but she was also in 2 movies that I admired and that I watched all the way through. It's a Wonderful Life, 1946, Christmas movie with Jimmy Stewart. And From Here to Eternity, 1953. So Donna Reed, she had 54 titles to her credit. But because of the Wonderful Life movie, which is a classic, and everybody's seen it, and they know what it's about. I've got Donna Reed in my top 50. Counting down, number 22, Jennifer Jones. 2 movies I saw her in. Love is a Many Splendored Thing, 1955. And 1974, she was in The Towering Inferno, the big high-rise building that catches fire at the top. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to give away what happens, but find out what happens to Jennifer Jones in that one. 26 titles, didn't work that much in Hollywood. Wonder why. But Love is a Many Splendored Thing was one of those quality written love stories back in 1955. Okay? 21 on my list, present day actress Rachel McAdams. Why do I have her? I have 4 movies I've seen of her. The one I liked the best was Red Eye, but she was in The Notebook, 2004, Wedding Crashers, 2005, but Red Eye, she's the girl that gets stopped by someone on the plane and runs through the airport. I like that movie, 2005. And then she was in The Vow, 2012, where she has a car accident and has amnesia. 37 titles to her credit, so Rachel McAdams makes my list. Number 20, Barbara Stanwyck. 107 titles. But I've only seen her in 2 movies. Titanic, 1953. That was a good movie with Clifton Webb. And then The Thornbirds in 1984, where she was in like 6 episodes of that one. Maybe 4 to 5 episodes of The Thornbirds. But Barbara Stanwyck, quality actress, comes in at number 20 on my list. Number 19, Jennifer Connelly. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies I've seen of hers. That's why she's on the list. 52 titles. A Beautiful Mind, 2001. Hulk, 2003, average movie. The Day the Earth Stood Still, disappointment, 2008. And Noah, 2014, another disappointment. But quality actress, Jennifer Connelly, comes in at number 19. Number 18, Amy Adams. She first appeared in a Smallville episode, the TV series Smallville, Clark Kent, 2001. But the movie that I liked that she was in was Catch Me If You Can, 2002, with Leonardo DiCaprio. She was good in that movie, Catch Me If You Can. Then she was in The Man of Steel, 2013 Superman movie. Then she was in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016. And then she was in Justice League, 2017. 62 titles for Amy Adams. She makes the list, coming in at number 18. Number 17 on my list, Doris Day. I've only seen 1 movie of Doris Day, but it is one of my favorite movies in my top 50. She has 132 titles to her credit. She was in Pillow Talk and all that with Cary Grant and The Glass Bottom Boat and all that, but I didn't watch those. But the one that I watched that I loved her in, The Man Who Knew Too Much, 1956, with Alfred Hitchcock movie. Que sera, whatever will be, will be. And she is in when the orchestra, and there's going to be a murder committed while this huge band of orchestra is playing in the big pavilion. And Doris Day lets out a scream for the ages. You got to see the movie The Man Who Knew Too Much, 1956. So Doris Day, congratulations for making my list. I only saw 1 movie, and it convinced me to put you on my list. Number 16, Naomi Watts. One, two, three movies. She has 86 titles to her credit. She was in The Ring, 2002 horror movie. The one you remember her for, and I think it's her signature movie, is King Kong, 2005. She plays the love interest of the monster, the ape. And then another movie called The Impossible in 2012. That was where the tsunami hit, and she has to survive the disaster. 86 titles for Naomi Watts, so she comes in at number 16 on my list. Number 15, Catherine Zeta-Jones. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies. She has 41 titles to her credit, but I've seen her in Titanic, 1996, The Mask of Zorro, 1998, Entrapment, 1999, average movie, and Ocean's 12, 2004. So Catherine Zeta-Jones, again, you could put her anywhere between 50 and 10. But I liked her. Number 14, Kim Novak, old school. She did a movie in 1955 called Picnic with William Holden. That was a good movie. And she did another one, Alfred Hitchcock movie, Vertigo, 1958. So those are the two that I saw with Kim Novak. 33 titles to her credit. Zeta-Jones has 41 titles. And Novak, 33 titles to her credit. Okay, counting down. You guys are interested in my top 10, right? So number 13, Diane Lane. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies. She has 69 titles to her credit. She was in The Perfect Storm, 2000. Then she was in Unfaithful, 2002. Got a nomination for the Academy Award. I don't think she won it. I saw that movie. Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016. She plays Martha Kent. Then she came back for Justice League 2017. So that's why I have her on my list. I've seen 4 of her movies. Diane Lane. I think her signature movie is Unfaithful, 2002. Because she is just solo in that one. The main star in that one. Number 12, you got to put this lady on the list. Julia Roberts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies I've seen with Julia Roberts. 64 titles to her credit. Pretty Woman, 1990. That's her signature movie. Flatliners, 1990. Sleeping with the Enemy. Out of all the movies, I think that's the one I liked her in the most. Sleeping with the Enemy, 1991, where the husband stalks her. She moves to Iowa to get away from him, but he tracks her down, and a classic ending on that one. The Pelican Brief, 1993, average. My Best Friend's Wedding, 1997. Ocean's 11, 2001. And Ocean's 12, 2004. 64 titles for Julia Roberts. The one I liked her in was Sleeping with the Enemy. You got to see that one. Number 11, Raquel Welch. I saw 2 movies of her. She has 69 titles. She was back in the 60s, 50s, 60s. 1 Million Years BC is her poster and signature movie, in my opinion. Maybe she'll say otherwise, but that was in 1966. And if you haven't seen the poster, go to YouTube and Google and see what promotion they do for that one. And then Fantastic Voyage in 1966. So they're the only 2 movies I've seen Raquel Welch, but she comes in at number 11 on my list. All right, counting down. This will be fun, okay? Let's see what you think of my list here. Number 10, Judy Garland, The Wizard of Oz, 1939, and she was also in Meet Me in St. Louis, 1944. She has 161 titles, so she was booked a lot for either TV appearances or movie promotions. Judy Garland, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Everyone's seen The Wizard of Oz, and you've seen the song. You got to put her in the top 10 as far as one of the most talented actresses of all time, really. And recognizable actresses. Judy Garland. Number 9, Natalie Wood. 74 titles. She played the little girl in Miracle on 34th Street, 1947, Christmas movie. Then she's a little older, 15 years old, in The Searchers, 1956. But her signature movie, West Side Story, 1961. I believe that won 9 or 10 Academy Awards. She didn't win the Best Actress one, but the movie won Best Picture of the Year. She was a star in that movie. Natalie Wood. I know she was in some of those other movies that she would say are better, but I think West Side Story is the one that everyone should see. Coming in, number 9. Number 8, Vivien Leigh. 21 titles, so a short career. But she was in Gone with the Wind, 1939. Brett, tomorrow will be another day. That won Best Picture of the Year. I believe she won Best Actress for that one. I hope I'm not mistaken, but I believe she won that. But the other movie I liked her in was Waterloo Bridge, 1940. I like that movie. That has Old Lang Syne and the signature song in that one. So Vivien Leigh, I'll put her in at number 8 as far as actresses that I admire in my top 50. Wait till you see who's number 1. Number 7, Maureen O'Hara. 65 titles. She was, one of the first movies she did was The Hunchback of Notre Dame in 1939. Then she did Miracle on 34th Street, 1947. And then she did some movies with John Wayne. McClintock, 1963, and Big Jake, 1971. But I liked her in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's a classic. 1939. So Maureen O'Hara comes in at number 7. Number 6, Vera Miles. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies I've seen her. But listen to this, 160 titles. Very popular. She was in The Searchers, 1956, with John Wayne. She was in The Wrong Man, 1956, with Henry Fonda. That was an Alfred Hitchcock movie. And then she was in Psycho, 1960, Alfred Hitchcock movie. That's her best movie. And then she was in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance with Jimmy Stewart, 1962. But she was in a Twilight Zone episode. It's one of my favorites, called Mirror Image. You know, the duplicate. Do we all have a duplicate in this world? And Vera Miles, one of my favorite actresses. And that's why I've got her at number 6 on my list. Number 5, Julie Andrews. 49 titles, 3 classics, really. Mary Poppins, 1964, one of my favorite movies. The Sound of Music, 1965. Mary Poppins, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress. The Sound of Music won Best Picture, but she did not win Best Actress. That is Highway Robbery. And then she was in another Alfred Hitchcock called Torn Curtain, 1966, with Paul Newman. I liked that one. That was a good movie. And then she did a big blockbuster called Hawaii, 1966. I saw the movie all the way through, and I think I slept, out of a 3-hour movie, I think I slept about an hour and a half of that one. But give Julie Andrews credit for 49 titles and coming in at number 5 on my list. Number 4, present day actress. Something about this actress, Sandra Bullock. All right, listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies I've seen with Sandra Bullock. Something about her. I'll tell you which one I like the best. 57 titles. Okay, she was in The Vanishing, 1993. Speed, 1994, The Runaway Bus. While You Were Sleeping, Christmas movie, 1995. She was in The Net, conspiracy movie, 1995. A Time to Kill, 1996. Speed 2, Cruise Control, 1997. Miss Congeniality, 2000. Then they did another one, but I didn't watch the second one. Crash, 2004. And then Gravity, 2013. The one I like was Gravity, 2013. Sandra Bullock. And she's the star of that movie, and she's a solo in that one. George Clooney had a subplot, but she's the one that drove that movie, and it was a good movie. I liked it. Gravity, 2013. The other ones I liked The Vanishing. I liked Speed. I liked While You Were Sleeping. You know, whatever movie she's in, she has that certain quality to her. Sandra Bullock coming in at number 4. Number 3, I think the most gorgeous, or maybe the top 5 of the most gorgeous actress on the list, and the most talented. But I only saw one movie of her. Why? I don't know. Because she was in the 50s and 60s, and she did a lot of foreign movies in Europe. But the one movie I saw her in was El Cid, 1961. She has 96 titles to her credit, but Sophia Loren comes in at number 3. Why? Sheer beauty, gorgeous, and the acting is superb. That's what I look for, the acting ability. Can you convince the people you're playing the part? And the movie I saw her in was with Charlton Heston called El Cid. Now, all the other movies she did were quality too, but I haven't seen them. I don't know why. They're just not on. But Sophia Loren, as far as admiration, comes in at number 3 on my list. You want to know who the top 2 are? Who haven't I mentioned? See how smart you are. Who haven't I mentioned on the top 50? Number 2, Audrey Hepburn. Why? Well, I saw 4 movies with her, 34 titles, so not a long career. But when she was in My Fair Lady, I didn't see that one. But something about her that just draws you. When she is acting, you're captivated. And of course, the beauty. Roman Holiday, 1953. Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1961, where she sings Moon River. I think that's her best movie. I could be wrong on that one. Charade, 1963. And Wait Until Dark, 1967. I've seen those 4 movies. Something about Audrey Hepburn that is captivating and compelling. I don't know what it is. Is it just the sheer fact that when she's on the screen, she illuminates everything and you have to watch? Maybe that's it. Who's number 1? Top 50 women that I admire. Well, let me see. 1, 2, yeah, okay. 4 movies I've seen of her. And all 4 movies are classics. That's why I've got her number 1. All the other ladies have done movies, and maybe they have 1, 2, or 3. But this lady has 4 classics. 33 titles to her credit, so it's not a long career. Who is it? Grace Kelly comes in at number 1 on my top 50 leading ladies actresses in motion pictures. Grace Kelly. The first movie I saw her in, High Noon, 1952. That won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Or did, Gary Cooper. High Noon. I could be mistaken if they won the Academy Award. I know Gary Cooper got Best Actor. But something about her that's captivating. But my favorite movie with Grace Kelly is Dial M for Murder, 1954, Alfred Hitchcock. The husband wants to take out the wife. And there's a classic scene where she grabs the scissors. You have to see that. That scene is one of the most well-done scenes I've ever seen in movie making history. And I've seen thousands and thousands of movies. That scene where she takes the scissors off the desk when she is being strangled by the robber. She grabs the scissors and plunges it into the robber's back. And the acting is unmatched in movie history, my opinion, my analysis. Watch the scene, see if you agree. Grace Kelly, Dial M for Murder, 1954. Then, in the same year, she makes another movie called Rear Window with Jimmy Stewart. And there's apartment building, and we don't know if the guy has taken out his wife, and she is the one who has to figure out what happened. Rear Window, Alfred Hitchcock movie, 1954. Check it out. Then she does another one in 1955 called To Catch a Thief with Cary Grant. Again, Alfred Hitchcock. And she just nailed it. All 4 movies. Grace Kelly. Then she stopped making movies shortly after that and married a prince. And then I read her autobiography, and she had a sad ending to her life. She was in an automobile, and it crashed and went off the cliff. Her and her daughter were in the car. Grace Kelly, what a talent. Comes in at number 1 on the top 50 actresses of all time. My apologies for anyone that you admired that I left off the list. What else can I say about all these leading ladies? Not only is their acting ability impressive, their beauty. What else can I say? So thanks for watching the video. Ken Artizone, I'm out.